Good afternoon, Tony Dattino, doing my Friday Live with Tony that I normally would do in the 5 o'clock hour, but I've got a busy afternoon and evening and didn't want to miss doing my broadcast. So hopefully my Live with Tony folks see the different times, but they get posted and notice at least the right date, and November 19th, and I'm doing this afternoon since at 2:45 the rest of my day will get shot, and I've even got some work to do this evening. So wanted to get my Live with Tony in and do the second part of what I was talking about yesterday. As I was going through this yesterday, right, there was something new. I was saying that there was some research done at the Massachusetts General Hospital, and it was talking about what happens when we misplace things. Do we create what we call senior moments? And so I was actually with somebody today who said, I misplaced my glasses. I can't find my glasses. And I said, time out. Do not give yourself the space to create a senior moment. Step back and think about what you were doing last when you had your glasses on. And within 30 seconds, boom, I know where they are. And they were able to go find them. But losing glasses sometimes, it's embarrassing to me when I'm looking for my glasses and I have them on. That's really bad. But I wanted to do the second part of this. I thought it was important because in this article, when we talk about different elements of memory and is it normal and how do we deal with this, I thought they had some really good tips that we talk about in our 6 elements of brain health and what we talk about in the current online course, Maximum Memory Mastery. And it just reinforces it, but I want to just read it to you from another perspective. What's important, the results of time and genetics have some impact on us. We're going to get older. We do lose some function. We lose some motor skill. But what I keep arguing is if we keep exercising our brain and we know what the elements are to maintain our brain health, then it helps us to minimize some of the aging and what some of that may do. I don't think we'll do it forever, but I'm optimistic there's so much more we can do than we ever realized to minimize the impacts or prolongate them. So for example, in some testing I've had done in 2021, the doctor looks at my brain and says, God, you've got about a brain and a system that seems to be about 10 years younger than people your age. I attribute that to the things that I'm going to talk to you about right now. So starting off with, the doctor here at Massachusetts General talks about exercising. And I've talked about exercising over and over again from 3 elements. Exercise aerobic. What are we doing to bring oxygen into our brain? So he talks about it doesn't have to be vigorous, but some regular physical activity has a positive impact on cognitive health as well as your mental health. I kind of put those together and say in your brain, some physical activity several times a week is of benefit. And I did a broadcast a few weeks ago where I said it doesn't matter even how old you were, if you just resume a couple of days a week, 10, 15 minutes of exercise is a healthy process because up to 20 to 30% of the oxygen we breathe in is used by our brain cells. Our brain cells are using oxygen and chemistry to create the electricity and the firings of our neuronal pathways, and therefore having some oxygen coming through your body that's a little bit more high-octane gasoline helps your brain work a little bit better and preserves some level of mental health. The big news for me about 10 years ago was also doing some form of physical exercise, and I just use 5-pound dumbbells. I don't get crazy. I'm not lifting, big 300-pound weights or doing all kinds of lifts and things. I do 5-pound dumbbells, and I maintain some of my muscle strength that way. And the research is even showing for people with cancer treatments doing some form of weightlifting. 5-pound dumbbells will do it. Water bottles in the COVID era when you couldn't get dumbbells will help. But doing some kind of keeping your muscles in tone. Sitting in TV at night when you're getting up from your chair or wherever you're sitting, try doing it without putting your arms on the rest. Just pick yourself up and give yourself your thighs and some of your glutes the chance to do it. And then last but not least, under the exercise umbrella comes the notion of flexibility. So what are you doing to twist that body around, feel that spine. What are you doing for your neck? What are you doing for your ankles? What do you do to give your knees a little bit of twisting? These, again, do not have to be crazy exercises, but I have shifted my exercise routines into the 1 in the morning when I first get going. So I do either the aerobic or I do the 5-pound dumbbells. So I alternate my running and I alternate my dumbbells. And then at night I do flexibility training. And instead of sitting down all night long and just sitting there watching TV, I give myself a 30 to 45-minute break by getting up, and I do stretches. I do various kinds of stretching exercises, similar to what you might see in some of the aerobic programs that you might see online. But I'm doing at least 3 programs every other day. And I feel that has helped me tremendously. I still run. I don't run at the pace I did when I was 60 years old, but I'm still getting out there and doing okay. I'm still functioning and feeling the mobility of my skill to run. And then I do the 5-pound dumbbells in different squats. I do squats and ups, sit down and up with them. And then, of course, the flexibility. Sometimes I'm doing stuff that's stretching, laying on the floor, and I'm stretching out in different capacities. So you can do these things while you're watching television. That's the amazing, except for running. You can't run outside and watch TV. But you can put some headsets in and listen to some music. So that was one of the things that the doctor here stresses. And then he talks about the importance of staying mentally active. I was talking with somebody today and was suggesting go to the local library and just scan down the magazines and just grab a magazine article of something that may be of interest to you, that may add to something that you find enjoyable, and just sit there in the library and read it. Take the magazine off the rack and put it in front of you, sit there and do this 45 minutes at least once a week. And just go to the rack, business section, gardening, social, all kinds of different sections in libraries if you go, and pick a magazine off the rack and read one article of it. That's all. And do that once a week so that you're constantly bringing some latest information into you based on what's being published in various magazines. I can't stress enough the Maximum Memory Mastery, the M3, Maximum Memory Mastery online course. It's a fabulous way of creating mental challenges and continuing to exercise your brain in a way that's bringing a skill to yourself that you need focus to have, and it keeps you alive and keeps your cognitive fitness that much better. He talks about social interaction. My goodness, if we are not being tested during the last 2 years with COVID restrictions and lockdowns, and the battles go on day by day by day, but the importance of social interaction and how we are hardwired to be social beings. And here COVID has kind of locked us down, and you're seeing drug addictions going up, you see depression going up. I mean, trying to get appointments with the psychologist, the psychiatrist this day and age is like near to close to impossible. When we talk about supply chain of getting people that are professionally employed to help humans with their own thinking and their own lives and their own self-esteem. And so doing something that engages you on a social level. So now we do some exercising, we build it into our schedule. We do some mental challenges that we can just have fun with and learn something that's new. And now we're trying to figure out, how do we maintain social interaction? How do we keep our social networks together? And we do Zooms, we do Facebooks, we do texting. But I always say sometimes to people, pick up the phone and talk to me. I'd love to hear your voice, and I'd love to be able to be spontaneous in how we connect and we communicate in terms of relationships. And then, of course, the age-old one we all know we need to have, but boy, we all know we need to have it, and that is a good quality sleep. And in today's world of news and stresses in our lives, boy, if we know we need to have sleep, but the challenges become, how do we make sure we get it? So somebody was asking me today on a call that I was in, I know I need to have sleep, so what, you got any recommendations? And so I went through a few of them, which I'll share with you right now, which is obviously simple, and you've probably heard it. Don't listen to the news after 6 o'clock at night. I don't care what news, any news station. Don't listen to it. If you have a favorite news program, record it. Do your digital recording and play it in the morning. At least when you hear it in the morning, you're up and fresh, and then you know what? It doesn't ruin the beginning of my day. I listen to some of my news reports in the morning when I'm doing my flexibility training or my weights. I listen to it. I might go out and run, and it doesn't stress me. It doesn't pull me down. So when I go to bed, I'll do a crossword puzzle for one of the dailies. And I'll do it until I feel, and I'll just go to sleep, and I have a good night's rest. Now, sometimes I have business challenges or things like I was on a late call yesterday. I'm going to be on a late one tonight. And sometimes that keeps me awake. But what I've learned to do is then if I'm tossing and turning at 2 or 3 in the morning, I get up, I grab whatever papers are associated with it, I make my notes in terms of what's keeping me awake and what questions or issues I need to get covered. I write them all out. I write them down. And the next thing I know, I'm sitting there and I'm getting drowsy again, and I'll go back in, lay on the bed, and go right back to sleep and wake up when I'm supposed to. What was amazing today is I had my annual dermatology appointment, and I had programmed myself to get up. I don't like to get the alarm to set up anything earlier than 6 o'clock. But I said, gee, if I want to get my run in, I got to get some errands in, I probably should get up at 5:30. So guess what time I woke up this morning? I don't know how our brain does these things, but I had a good night's rest. And 5:30, up, had a bed, did my run, came back, went to the dermatologist, I got my annual work done, and off I've been all morning on different calls and working on different activities. So think of those 4 things: your exercising, your mental challenges, your social interaction, and your sleep. And these are the elements that science and research is telling us today all have major benefits and impacts on our cognitive fitness and mental health. And all I say to people is you don't need to wait till you're 60 years old to begin to do these things. If you're 60, start them. If you're 40, begin them. There's no need to wait until it's too late. Let's take control, as science is telling us, research saying more and more we can do to control our mental fitness, and there's nothing worse than I keep reading about the aggressive growth line of Alzheimer's and dementia and cognitive impairment. And I say we may have become too many couch potatoes that need to integrate our television watching with some of the physical activities that I've talked about in this video. Time for the weekend: football, football, and football, and now we're going to start mixing basketball in the middle of it. So enjoy whatever it is you're rooting for this week, as long as it does not stress you out and it lets you get to bed in a nice, peaceful, quiet way. And we shall see you on Monday evening. We have Turkey Day next week, so Thanksgiving is upon us as well. And I actually went and bought a new laptop today, caught a Black Friday sale in Best Buy. So I've got some work to do on a new computer, which I will begin tonight and tomorrow. So have a good one, and we'll see you on Monday.